To begin your work on your partner, you're going to first traction the head and neck. What you want to do is slide your hands underneath the neck like this and gently pull back with your body weight. Make sure you're not using your arms to pull, but you're just leaning back. As you get to the base of the skull, simply release your pressure and slide up the back of the head. You can do this 4 or 5 times. It'll create opening space in between the cervical vertebra and the neck. Here. Next up, we'll do traction of both arms to pull the shoulders down and create a little bit more space in the upper back area. Take a hold of your partner's wrist gently. Don't squeeze directly on the hand, and put your hands around and just lean backwards like we did with the head and create a little traction. Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds and then release. On the opposite side of the body, we're going to do the same technique. You're going to take your hands, put them around the wrists, around them, hold on, and gently pull down. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Once you've tractioned the neck and the arms, the next step is to actually work on the chest a little bit to open up the front of the chest, and this will also do, we'll also do a little bit of work on the neck and shoulders. For the next step, you'll need to put a little bit of lotion on your hands. Warm it up in your hands before you actually put it on your partner. And what we're going to do now is just massage the pec muscles of the upper chest. You can start with circles using the palm of your hands. And if you'll watch me, I'm actually leaning forward as I do this, so I'm not really pushing with my arms, I'm pushing with my body. Once you've done a few circles, you can also do alternating lines on one side of the chest using your palms and your fingers, and then switch over to the other side and work on the upper chest with alternating hands doing small circles. Once you finish some circles, smooth over the chest up to the shoulder area, and now we're going to do what I call cat's paw, where you push alternatingly on either side of the shoulders. Again, in this case, I am leaning forward with my body, not pressing with my arms. I'm using the flat part of my palm to actually do this work. If your partner needs deeper or lighter pressure, they can communicate that to you. But for now, we're just warming up the tissue before we start the work on the face and the neck. For the second part of the neck work, we're going to do some stripping down the sides and the back of the neck. What you'll do is put a little bit of lotion on your hands. You're going to use your finger pads and simply press down the sides of the neck until you get to the shoulders. We're going to do 5 or 10 going downwards. And then we'll do some work pulling upwards. So I'm going to use the flat of my fingertips and go up the sides of the neck, and then go downwards toward the table to the back of the neck. This will feel really good on people who do a lot of computer work. Do this upwards a few times, and then we're going to go a different direction. We're going to start at underneath the ears, at the sort of the back part of the neck, and we're just going to push down from the base of the skull down towards the shoulders. Make sure you're checking in with your partner for the pressure. Next, turn your partner's head to one side. In this case, I'm going to roll his head a little bit to the right. And I'm going to use my hand to push down the back and side of the neck. I'm going to use the pad parts of my fingers to push down. If you're working with someone who likes a lot of deep pressure, you can actually use your knuckles to do this. Put your hands in a soft fist again and just run your knuckles down the side of the neck. Don't get too far forward with this move. You want to make sure you avoid the front part of the neck. But we'll do some lines down either with the fingertips or with the knuckles on one side. Then do some circles. And then we'll turn the head to the other side and do the same thing on this side. So start out with using the finger pads to go down from the skull towards the shoulders. Again, if you want to do deeper pressure, use some knuckles on this. Make sure you do not get too far forward to the anterior part of the neck. And then if you want, do some circles down the neck. We'll finish with some lines back down the neck. And then to wrap up this section of the video, we're going to use our finger pads to make small circles at the base of the skull. Take your fingertips. You don't need to turn your partner's head, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. What I'm going to be doing underneath where you can't see is doing circles right at the base of the skull in the muscle and the connective tissue where the skull meets with the spine. So what this will look like is you will pull your fingers up to the base of the skull, and you will use your finger pads to do circles at the base of the skull in the occiput area. Forehead, we'll start with vertical lines from right between the eyes up to the hairline. Do about 3 or 4 lines in each location and then move out 1 finger width. You can either use your thumbs or your fingers to do this. Once you've gotten all the way over to the ears, move back in 1 finger width at a time. Doing 3 or 4 lines in each position. Once we've finished doing this vertically, we're going to do a series of lines stripping out from the midline to the hairline. So put your thumbs together at the center of the forehead, pull out towards the hairline. Again, we'll do 3 or 4 of these lines in each position. If you're working with someone who has a receded hairline, simply keep going, 3 or 4 lines in each position. If this was still scalp, plain bare scalp here, we would continue to do this all the way until we hit the hairline. Once you get to the hairline, start moving back down, doing 3 or 4 strips in each position. Once you finish that, we're going to do something that's a little bit more invigorating. We're going to do strips in alternate directions. We're really going to focus on this area right here. So we're going to do crossover strips, crossing over a little bit in the middle as we do this. And again, we'll do 3 or 4 in each position. If you want to use your thumbs, you can do the same thing. It'll be a little bit deeper pressure. I'm not using very much pressure to move the face. This is really very light pressure. So once you've done alternating directions of lines with your fingers going horizontally, we'll do the same thing vertically. Again, using thumbs or fingers. And in this case, we'll just go over to the right side first, moving the tissue of the forehead around. Once you've done this series of alternating lines vertically, we're going to do some shiatsu. What you'll do is use your finger pads, press lightly just above the eyebrow on the brow line, hold for a couple seconds, release, and come out a little bit to the side. Once you're at the side, move up just a bit so your finger pads are in a new position, work in towards the middle again. If you prefer, you can use your thumbs, but using your fingers and your finger pads all together covers a little bit more area at a time than just your thumbs. To begin the work on the scalp, we're going to do a series of circles with our fingertips. Put your hands together like you're going to hold a ball, place them on the head, and do small circles, moving the hair but also moving the scalp as well. The slower you go, the more relaxing this will be. I like to start with scalp with the finger massage close to the ears, and then slowly move up towards the crown of the head, making circles the whole time. If you're working on someone who has some hair loss on the top of their head, make sure that you have some lotion on your fingertips as you do this. It'll feel really good on their scalp. Once you've finished a series of circles, the next thing we're going to do is some shiatsu. We'll start with the thumbs right at the hairline in the middle. We're just going to push in for a second or two and draw lines down with the thumbs. I'm going to take my thumbs all the way to the table, and then I'll start a little bit further out. And we will do these lines all the way over to the ears. Moving outward about a thumb's width every time you start a new line. If this is too much pressure on your thumbs, you can put your hands in slight fists. That way your thumb is supported as you press in. Now we're getting towards the side of the head on either side. Again, I'm just pressing with my thumbs. And the final line will be right above the ears. Again, going all the way down to the table. We're going to do the same thing again, but this time draw little circles as we press in. So starting again at the center of the head in the hairline, we'll go all the way to the table. And in each position, draw 1 or 2 circles with your thumbs. Again, if this is too much pressure on your thumb to work unsupported, put your hands in soft fists and do small circles as you work through the hair. After this, we'll do one more line. Make sure you're going to the table. You can also use your fingertips if that's easier. I use 2 fingers together, one supporting the other behind it, and go all the way down to the table. The final thing to do, which we may not be able to do here, is to actually tug on the hair. His hair is too short to do this, but what you'll do is make your fingers into a rake, go into the hair, close your fingers, and pull back. You only want to pull back lightly. You don't want to hurt the person you're working on. So again, putting your fingers, raking your fingers down into the hair, closing them so that you have some surface to pull on, and tugging. And this will feel good done all over the scalp.